Court Captive by J.S. Claude's Path, Chapter 1. The Perfect Prince. Claude. My name is Claudius Augustus Valentine Fraser Tott. I am the first and only legitimate son of my father the king, and heir to the throne of Contrarian. At 21 years old, I live in the palace at Moongard together with my father, my half-brother Artair, and my orphaned cousin Felix, who is like a brother to me. My mother, I am sorry to say, was a murderess. I was 14 when, after a lengthy trial, she was found unfit for rule and committed to an asylum. She died there, unable to bear the weight of her crimes, among which, I am also sorry to say, was the murder of my half-brother's mother, the Terraran princess Darcy Kane. My father, the last person I would have ever taken for a romantic, was devastated by the loss of these two, and never remarried. Thus the Queen's seat remains vacant, and though we are of age, neither I nor my brothers have married. So there are no women of distinction in our house, but men only. Some nations consider that our weakness, but I say it is our strength. Historians will look back on this period as an era of men, a time of wise leadership which has resulted in great prosperity for our nation. It is also a time of stoicism and of strength. If there are human characteristics more important than these, I have yet to experience them. I have learned in my years as prince the value of reason over emotion, and of might over weakness. Women, I am told, are gentle creatures, which is a weakness in and of itself. However, my own experience with women, with my own mother in particular, has taught me they are scheming, duplicitous, and deadly. Either way, and whichever they are not welcome here. I am well aware that as future king I will one day undertake a political marriage for the sake of producing an heir, a duty I will perform like any other, with stoicism and efficiency. But I will not be involved with the mother of my child in any capacity. I will not lend my ear to any suggestions of weakness, and I will not fall prey to any of her wily schemes. To do so would be to compromise the strength of the contrarian throne we have built up since the Queen's death, and I will not be responsible for such an offense. My cousin Felix says I am too uptight on this subject. He is a great lover of women. A lover of so many, he says, it is impossible for him to choose just one. By his account, I am a fool to dismiss the virtues of the fairer sex so offhandedly, but to me, he is the fool. My sense of duty prohibits me from behaving as he does, cavorting with women and causing a new scandal every week. I have a responsibility to my people and to my crown to live an upright and blameless life, always upholding the image of contrarian nobility, not just at home, but on the global scene as well. If that makes me uptight in Felix's eyes, so be it. Besides, I know very well how to enjoy myself outside the company of women, or anyone at all. It's just that my ideas of fun are a bit different from his. Felix is happiest in a crowd, but I cherish the time I get to myself to pursue my own hobbies. Today, for instance, I have a rare afternoon off, so I've taken to the Royal Library and pulled down several volumes on the subject of gardening, especially volumes dealing with the question of mulch. When to mulch, where to mulch, how to mulch, and with what to mulch. There are a startling variety of ideas on this subject, even opposing ones. My conclusion, therefore, is to make a thorough study, and then to prepare a series of tightly controlled experiments to determine which mulch produces the greatest effects on which vegetables. I am aware it will be a long undertaking, an effort of several years, or perhaps a lifetime. But if mulch holds the key to producing a better harvest for my people's crops, as I feel it might, then I owe it to them to give it my all. Besides, I think with the faintest twinge of satisfaction, it'll be fun. I sit in a comfortable chair in the far corner of the library, quite absorbed in my research when I hear the door open. I look up to find a maid has entered with a large feather duster. Well, that's all right, I suppose. I do prefer to be alone, but so long as she doesn't make any noise, I'll let her get on with her job. My eyes return to the page of my book and I settle back in. But before I can get through even a single sentence, she breaks out in song. I look up, startled. What does she think she's doing? Didn't she see me when she walked in? Me, the prince, clearly enjoying his peace and quiet. Then, I suppose I am quite tucked in back here, and half buried in a stack of gardening books. I should draw her attention to me, so she knows to settle down. I clear my throat deliberately, but she does not hear me. I clear it louder. Still nothing. That foolish maid stands on some of the highest rungs of the ladder, dusting and singing her heart out. I don't understand how she can breathe with that much dust flying. And indeed, she stops a moment and chokes, but as soon as it's settled, she gets right back to it, singing at the top of her lungs. I don't understand what's going on. I think I should be annoyed, but the longer she goes on, I seem to forget that fact. Rather than be annoyed, I am intrigued. I've never heard anything like this. Not just the songs with their strange lyrics, but just someone, a commoner, singing simply for their own pleasure, and not performing to me. The music I'm used to listening to is all very proper and perfect, but this music is wild, a bit sloppy and, strangely, refreshing. Suddenly I am glad she hasn't spotted me. I even feel content to put up my book for a few minutes and just listen, captivated by her song. Meanwhile, the maid pulls herself around the room on the ladder, concentrating her efforts along the top shelves, wisely dusting from the top down. It's not something I've ever considered, but I see the ingeniousness of commoners in action as I watch her work. It's no wonder I'm so fascinated, I think to myself. It's like watching a strange bird from another world slowly making its way towards me as she twitters to herself, still so unaware. She keeps inching my way, dusting wildly and singing. I know I should alert her to my presence somehow so as not to startle her, but I find myself increasingly at a loss as to how to do that. I've never been so anxious to introduce myself to a person before. Usually they are anxious about me. So why does the thought of interrupting this girl, of making eye contact with her, have the hairs on my arm rising in anticipation? Slowly, slowly she comes closer. I can hear the swish of her skirts as dust rains down on me. Her song swells to fill the room. I don't care if Monday's blue, Tuesday's gray, and Wednesday too. Thursday I don't care about you. It's Friday I'm in love. Then it happens. She starts to scoot the ladder along, and as she looks down she spots me. She cries out in alarm and loses her balance. She starts to fall. My body moves on its own. I jump up just in time to catch her in a perfect Princess Carrie. Our eyes meet, and for the first time in my life, my mind is blank. I've never been this close to another human being. Holding her, my fingers digging into her. She's so close I can smell the soft rose fragrance wafting from her neck. Her lovely milk-colored face dotted with freckles is just inches from my own. Her big, pale brown eyes, unlike any eyes I've ever seen, are even lighter than the skin of a brightly polished potato. "I'm so sorry," she gasps, and I realize only then just how fast my heart is beating. "I didn't see you." "It's quite all right." We're staring at each other. Her expression is one of disbelief and of wonder. Mine? I don't know what mine is. I expect I look very stupid just at the moment. I feel stupid. I don't know what to do. I wish I knew what to say to her. I must be heavy, she says at last, eyes lowering as a powerful blush creeps into her cheeks. What is she talking about? She's not heavy at all. Why, I could hold her like this all day. And suddenly I am very awkward. We're both very awkward. I set her down, but before I can say a word, she's running. Her black skirts are flying behind her as she zooms out the door, leaving nothing but a cloud of dust in her wake. I stand in a daze for some minutes. Then I remember my books and return to my chair, but I do not read. I can't seem to concentrate on the words. It's Friday. I'm in love. The lyrics play over and over in my mind. What a strange song. And it's not even Friday. Doesn't she know it's Saturday? Perhaps she was confused. Friday. I'm in love. Eventually I leave the library, taking my books and my notes on mulching with me to my room. I study there and have a little more success. To some extent I am even able to put the strange encounter from my mind, but not completely. I don't like it. It's concerning that I should be so distracted by thoughts of a simple maid. Unbefitting. Shaking myself of any lingering thoughts of that troublesome girl, I take a light dinner in my room, then prepare myself for a meeting with the preliminary envoy from Scandi. They are the forerunners to the larger envoy coming for the statesman's ball to sign a peace treaty between our nations. As Prince of Contrarian, it is my job to draft the new treaty to the satisfaction of the ambassador before the king and his family arrive. It will be no simple task pleasing him. Nevertheless, I am more than confident in my ability to satisfy both parties. After all, I drafted the last treaty between our nations on the eve of my 16th birthday, and more than 5 years have passed since then. My manservant Harald helps me change into a fresh white coat with a bright scarlet sash across my breast. My hair is smoothed and my shoes are smartly polished. Over my heart several medals denoting my rank glisten and clink faintly as I stride to the green stateroom. I am the very embodiment of contrarian royalty as the doors open before me and my entry is announced. Everyone in the room stands and bows, servants and lords alike. Everyone defers in silent respect, awaiting my nod to relax. I grant it stoically, and greet the diplomats from Scandi in their own language. Ambassador Nilsson, a pleasure to see you again. Your Highness, I am deeply honored. I make the usual appropriate inquiries after his health and family before indicating we should take our seats at the table to begin negotiations. As you are aware, Mr. Nilsson begins, the history between our nations hasn't always been amiable. However, thanks to your Highness's efforts in particular, Contrarian and Scandi have enjoyed a peaceful relationship these last 5 years, a trend we hope will continue long into the future. With this, the meeting is underway, and we go at once to discussing the terms of our new treaty. There is much to consider, and I am wholly focused on the task at hand, translating intricate and crucial information in real time, policies that will impact the lives of millions. It is a delicate dance, with each side eager to press their advantage while still careful they do not overstep their bounds with their respective sovereign nation. But I am well prepared, a born negotiator, informed, confident, and stubborn enough to hold out until I get exactly what I want from this deal. It is the sort of meeting that can be expected to last not hours, but days. And so, as Mr. Nilsson is in the midst of outlining the proposed terms of his country's maritime authority, I am surprised when my concentration is unexpectedly broken by the swish of a certain dark ponytail. It's the maid, the girl from the library. She's a cleaning woman, not a server. So why is she suddenly standing just a few feet from me, serving tea to the Scandi ambassador? Her manners are fine, I decide. Her movements pretty. Her pale eyes are cast down so generous dark lashes shade her cheeks. Then she glances up to check the other cups, and her eyes seem to linger a few seconds on my hand as it grips a fountain pen before they fall away shyly. Your Highness? I look up sharply to Mr. Nilsson, who is staring back at me with a puzzled expression, realizing only now how powerfully my heart is thrumming in my chest. You'll forgive me, I answer in Scandi, unaccustomed to this feeling of humiliation as I confess to something for perhaps the first time in my life. I lost my train of thought. That's quite all right, sire. I was just saying. It's strange. Usually I am the picture of concentration and efficiency when it comes to important projects like this one. But now, rather unexpectedly, I find myself so aware of another person's movements as the maid continues about the room seeing to her task, I can't hear a word the ambassador is saying. I think I'll be able to concentrate better when she disappears behind my back. But the opposite is true. Even outside of my vision, she has captured my fascination so completely, I can think of nothing else. I stand abruptly, and the room goes deathly silent. All eyes are on me. I clear my throat sharply. Let's halt this discussion for the time being, Mr. Nilsson. You've given me much to consider before I pen the first draft of the treaty. For now, I will invite you and your assistants to take your leisure in the palace. I thank you, Your Highness. Though I sense Mr. Nilsson's impatience to continue, he cannot challenge me on this. I turned from him, my eyes sweeping the large stateroom for a form that's fast growing familiar, only to find the maid has vanished. I stand there stupidly for a moment, my fingers burning with the memory of her clasped against me earlier today, my ears still ringing with the faintest echo of her song. It's Friday. I'm in love. I leave the room abruptly, without a word of explanation to anyone. Perhaps the Scandi diplomats believe they have offended me in some way. That's all right, since fearing the breakdown of negotiations will make them more likely to sign a treaty in Contrarian's favor. Still, this wasn't a tactic I'd planned to use, no. This is... well, it's all that girl's fault, isn't it? Harald, I address my manservant, who hurries slightly to match my long, impatient stride. Find out who among the palace staff were serving tea for the Scandi diplomats this evening. Goodness, he murmurs. Is that why your Highness was so out of sorts? You must forgive me, I didn't notice anything amiss. But they must have made a significant mistake to warrant a personal reprimand from the prince. I hesitate. It wasn't my intention to draw attention to her, to risk getting her in trouble with the head housekeeper. But, as Harald points out, what other reason could the Prince of Contrarian have for singling out a servant? Certainly it wouldn't be to learn her name, or the details of her schedule for the next week. Describe the offender to me. I shall see to it they are chastised severely for their blunder, sire. No, that won't be necessary, I decide abruptly. But your Highness, forget I mentioned it. There's no need to look into the matter after all. Am I stupid? I ask myself the question later when I'm alone in the bath. I am annoyed, even angry with myself. What business do I have, looking into a mere servant? Why should I care who she is or what she does in the palace? I've been far too distracted since the incident in the library this afternoon. I've been told the female figure can do that to a man, though it is my first time experiencing it personally. Perhaps I should insist on being served only by male staff in the future, since clearly these females are a hindrance to my efficiency. Or at the very least, that one in particular seems to be. It would be for the best, I decide. if I never see that girl again.
Water turns cold and gets to freezing.